Heartwood Online is a 2D indie MMORPG and it is cross-platform. It is free to play on Steam as well as Apple and Android. Think mob grinding, you're going to be finding a lot of mobs. Think basic tiered gathering and crafting. This game has a huge following and we have 600 players on right now, which is pretty low for what we were used to. The devs have been teasing a huge update that's supposed to 2 or 3 times the map size as well as the content of the game, so a bunch of us are waiting for it. I have a lot of hours in this, so we're going to go over what it has to offer before that update drops. If you're into indie MMORPGs, all we do is cover them on this channel, so please stick around by subscribing. Leave me a like and a comment for the video to spread, and we have a Discord server if you want to join. I'm going to start up the guild again once the next Shadowfang update drops. Now let's get started. So we'll start off with the classes. We have 4 different ones. I'm a warrior. Every class starts off with a healing skill as their first one, and then it evolves into something more specific to their class. So as a warrior, my healing skill also gives me a shield when I level up down the line, and you unlock that skill at level 5, then you unlock the next skill at 10, 15, and 25. So I have a mobbing skill, I have a stun mobbing attack, and I have my Ebola, which stuns them and does damage. We have a rogue here. He has his dagger attack, which does a bunch of different hits at once and also mobs. We have our kind of shotgun style ninja stars. His heal gives him some evasion, I believe. And then he also has his stealth skill. And thank you to our player Kakashi right here. We're on the US servers. Oh, that must be him. Looks like he's right here. Let's see. He's starting with Fireball. He has his freezing attack, which will actually freeze the mob in place. And then the lightning attack, which has a really short cooldown and hits all the mobs in the cone. Alright, and here's his priest. He's got that skill. I think it's the level 25 skill that removes all the roots and stuns off your team. That's their healing skill. It's an area of effect right there, and then he just shot me with a bunch of healing balls. And that's the priest currently. All the classes will eventually be able to swap their skills for other skills that they learn when they level up, so you'll have more options here to swap them out. But it looks like this game we're going to be sticking with 4 skills in its entirety for your class to keep it simple. And now we'll move on to crafts and gear. You don't have to craft if you don't want to. You can trade players, and also NPCs and the bosses drop great gear as well. So we have wood cutting, which corresponds with the carpentry table, and here you can take a look at the weapons and stuff you can craft. We have staves, which is 2-handed melee. Mainly mages use them because I believe some of them are based off of magic attack, and they have wands, which is ranged and you can use a shield with it, also magic attack. Instruments, these harps, they're basically bows for mages. They're based off of magic damage as well. Maces can also be used by mages. Every melee that you use hits all the mobs in front of you, so you want to gather up mobs and fight them. And then you also make tools here. You can make axes and fishing poles. And then we could check out all the skills here. These are my levels currently. These are what are currently in game. Most popular seems to be fishing, but all of the gathering and crafts just tier up. Every 10 levels you move on to the next set of nodes, so the next set of trees, next set of mining nodes. Here's coal right here. But over here is the anvil, and this is where you make metal weapons, metal shields, and plate armor. The warriors will be wearing this stuff. And then occasionally you'll find recipes and their one-time use. You can make better weapons or armor with these recipes. Fishing also tiers up every 10 levels. You use cooking to make bait. We'll check that out in a second. See how this guy found some trash? You're gonna want to go and find some fishing holes, and they're not actually shown on the map. So you're going to have to see if you get a bite after a few seconds. If not, that's a bad spot. And I can't tell if it's shared across all the channels or not, but they do dry up. Like, you can't fish at the same fishing hole forever. Let me see if I can find one. No, usually it takes a minute, but once you find it, you can really crank out some fish. Oh, see, that was super fast. You just hold down left click, and if you're strong enough with your rod, you can catch it pretty easily. If not, you just have to fight it back and forth, you know, give it some slack like normal fishing in real life. Let me see if we got another one real quick. Yep. So this would be a little fishing hole. It's not displayed on the map, and it doesn't take that long to find these. I actually like this system. Makes fishermen move around instead of sitting in the same spot for 10 hours a day. But once you get fish, you can chop them all up, and you can take this fish meat over to the cooking table. Let's go over there. There's also the fishing NPC, and he sells some stuff. We have the leaderboards over here. We have this guy who sells the best shields in game currently, and some recipes that use the fishing supplies. Actually, you can get scales and different pieces from the fish. But we're gonna run over down here and we will go to the cooking table. It's just a grill right here, and you can make fishing bait, or you can make these offerings, and these offerings are used to spawn little elite mobs, and people farm them so they can get the mount version, and they're really rare. But right here is the vulture altar, and you could spawn the little vulture elite mob, and these elite mounts are like what everyone's trying to go for in this game. Let me see, I'll use my world shout. Anyone got elite mounts? And that's part of, if you're a patron, you can use the little channel world shout. And I'll go into monetization after this. If you go north, there is tailoring and leatherworking. Tailoring is for mages, leather is for the rogues. I'm gonna press T, teleport back home real quick, and see if we can find anyone with... this guy has an elite mount. This is the sheep, and you can't actually summon him yet, but I believe it was teased that we'll be able to summon them in the next update. They'll add some more summoning spots. Any of the elite mounts you cannot buy. They're just a major flex. Here's Kakashi. He brought over his elite boar mount. This one's my favorite. And these elites all spawn around the area that their basic version spawns, so you don't have to grind out the altars if you don't want to, but that's just a way to boost your chances of finding them spawned. They just spawn naturally though. But that intertwines with cooking. If you get into life skilling, you're going to want to get yourself one of the outfits, and they're not bought with real money. This is all just crafted gear in game, or they're found just from certain mobs. If you get these life skilling outfits, they help you gain more experience by giving you a chance of getting extra of whatever you're gathering. So if you get an extra copper ore, you'll gain more experience in mining. And here's the fishing outfit as well, and that'll help you gain more fish and fishing experience. There's also one for chopping trees as well, and he's just got the hat, but there's also more to it. And then we also have a little tournament area here. This is open PvP. You can go and battle your friends. You can also duel anyone anywhere, but this is a spot where they hold a lot of tournaments. Okay, we'll get into monetization. You can subscribe on Patreon for just their little Patreon chat. It starts at $5 and caps at $100. The $100 patrons get a mount every month that are based off of the mobs in game, just a different color scheme. And if you are $25 or more patron, you can get one of these cosmetic hats that go with that mount that you get. You can hide your hats in game if you want. And then they also have a shop in game. They have some fancy mounts. I like the chestnut horse the most. It's like $5 or $10. And then they have some super expensive ones, go up to like $100, I think. All of these you can get in game by grinding. There's a super rare chance of getting them from a box that just drops from like any mob, and then this tortoise comes from the fishing boss, but the rest they come from either the super rare box or you have to buy them. And then they have some hats in here. They have some bundles for cosmetics, and you can also pay $5 for an extra bank expansion page or a loadout expansion. That's the monetization. I think the only things you really need to get are the bank expansion if you're gathering a lot of stuff, but otherwise you get a free mount just by playing. And then the best mounts are from the events. They give away free mounts and other stuff. So here I have some event items. We have the Wintermas hat, we have the spectral spear, which was from, I forgot what they called the Halloween event. I'm not sure what it was called. I can't remember. Pumpkin Fest? And then they have this toga, which was from the 1-year anniversary. The toga isn't tradable, the hat isn't tradable, but the weapons are tradable. It kind of switches back and forth between events, so you don't really know what to expect. But the events in this game are pretty simple since this is early access. They're mainly kill quests or go and gather stuff, or you find just little loot packs and you open them for a chance to get stuff. Now, if you end up getting something that you get twice of, sometimes you can get a magic coin, which they're going to add a shop for down the line to get certain stuff, but the description is duplicate of a cosmetic. These are for special prizes at the Wandering Merchant Cart, which will come eventually. Now, leveling in combat is straightforward. You just fight whatever is around your level. You see here I don't get any experience from these little guys. I'm not sure if they're gonna keep it to where you get 0 experience from lower level mobs down the line, but for now that's how it's gonna be. You just go through the map, you see the levels on the mobs, and you just follow the path and it'll lead you around. It seems like every mob level there are 2 different zones for. So if it ever gets packed, you can try to find the other side. So these guys are level 13, and I believe those floors. We're level 13 as well. You progress up to here. There are skeletons out here, and then there are skeletons in here as well. But you just keep progressing. You kind of follow the different paths you gotta explore. There's a big jump right here, so you know not to go to the right. You end up going up here, up, and up, and you'll find your first major boss spot after you go through these tunnels. If you're leveling up, you definitely want to party up because there is a slight bonus experience for being in a party. Oh, sick. This is one of the elite mobs. People like go crazy trying to find this. They call him Black Dog, I think. Oh, I don't have my high level gear on. Whoops. They just spawn naturally by the corresponding mob you saw there. And then right here is the big boy boss. I've never actually, I think I've beat him only a couple of times, but you just need to have a summon for that. You can either pay players for them or you can go and craft it with cooking. And there's also a similar boss on the opposite side of this tunnel. So we're back here in the center. Boss is on the right side. Out here is the final area of what we have available for us. We have the sheep out here. You use their wool for crafting. These guys drop some goodies. They also drop leather for crafting. We have some mining nodes out here, and we have some higher level different trees. Yeah, the map isn't too big. The new update should hopefully bring it out 2 or 3 times larger. Thing is, people are still playing this like crazy. I don't know how they put so many hours in. Hopefully this is going to be open down the line. We've seen teasers in the Patreon chat about certain areas opening up. This bridge may be opened up in the future. I'll say hi to this player. Looks like they're grinding. But the leveling system, you just go and you fight stuff. So I kind of like to compare it to MapleStory. And a lot of Asian players seem to like this game as well, which is how you know it's decent for grinding. But that's the leveling and combat. Not too complicated. That's why I particularly like this project. It's not super complicated, but there is a decent variety of stuff to do in game. There are only a few quests in game currently, but they build up your legacy, which is right here. This is similar to some old anime MMOs. They were saying Rukoi or Nexus TK, one of those. But you can see the history of your character and what you've progressed in the different seasons in the game. You can see here I have played through a couple of different events, and you get those from completing some of the quests during there. Salty Angler must be from fishing. The first Dryad Bloom is the first year anniversary. Fraudulent Pumpkins from the Pumpkin Fest. And we got to see some test skills with the latest winter event. We had some snowball skill, but looks like it was taken out. We were able to swap to snowballs there. And then over here by spawn we have our bulk market board. The developers said they want to have kind of old school style anime MMO stores and shops where you set it up with your character and you can sit there and sell your gear. But here you can list all of just your basic materials and some containers and stuff. Bait, a rusty key, ores, all this little basic stuff, which I think is a good idea because it'll keep our player stores way more interesting with just having different pieces of gear in it rather than flooded with a bunch of materials. Real quick, I just want to talk about events and what are planned. So this is just a player event. Like, I didn't plan on having this in the video, but it was happening, so I thought I'd show up. Players run events all the time, whether in the PvP tournament area or fishing is pretty popular. Developers definitely want to have their own automated system with like mods running or even players being able to run their own. Players have been keeping themselves busy. They just announced actually a couple of days ago, I have to edit this into the video, that they're ending Patreon in May, which is a month from when I recorded this video. So I imagine the update should come sometime after that. I mean, they still need funding, but they're gonna have an in-game membership system instead of through Patreon. But yeah, looks like our update is finally coming. I didn't plan on having this in the video, but pretty good news. The devs have mentioned that they want to have player ran shops where you show your actual gear that you're selling instead of just listing it up in the market board. And yeah, we're just gonna see where this game goes. It's one of my favorites. Development has taken quite some time. It is just a few developers. Hopefully we have the update pretty soon. I know a lot of us are sitting around waiting, including myself, and I'm a mod. I haven't been playing that much, but these kind of events definitely keep people interested and they have fun and all that. But I think we're gonna end the video on this event. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I know there are a lot of haters because people had some high expectations and then development just takes a long time, but a lot of people people that follow the channel, we're used to having to wait for so long, so I've just been playing other games. It's not really that big of a deal. Hopefully we have the update soon and we can all mess around and have some fun. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to stick around by subscribing. All we do is cover indie MMOs on this channel, and yeah, this is one of my favorites, definitely in the top for mobile and for cross-platform with the action combat. You can join our Discord server if you want. Hopefully we start up the guild again soon. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time, I will see you in game.